Hey, friends. Welcome to Dishing on Divorce. Next chapter on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio, Podcasts, and TV. I'm your host, Lisa Lisser, CEO and founder of LZL Coaching, a boutique coaching firm focused on divorce, relationships, and life transitions. As a divorced mom of 3 now grown kids, I have firsthand experience in life taking some turns I didn't expect. But the thing about divorce is that you have the opportunity to start over. You have a next chapter. Today's show is entitled Dating, Ready or Not, Here I Come. And what does it take to be ready to date after divorce? Can you jump in too soon? Do you wonder if your reluctance is keeping you stuck? Today's guest, Laurie Gerber, founder of Laurie Gerber Coaching, is here to talk about how to jump back into the dating world even after you've been out of it for decades. Welcome, Laurie.
Thanks for having me, Lisa. Good to be here.
It's great to have you. So I'm going to give a little bit of your background, and then we're going to jump right in. Laurie Gerber is one of the most engaging and effective life coaches and presenters in the country. After holding several positions at the Handle Group over the last 20 years, including president of HG Life, Laurie is currently licensing the Handle Method and running Laurie Gerber Coaching, focusing on love coaching. Laurie has appeared on the Today Show, Dr. Phil, MTV, and A&E, and been a resident love expert at Match, Zoosk, JDate, and more. She has been presenting to and coaching individuals, couples, and groups with a wide range of partners, including the dating sites we mentioned, the General Assembly, She Tribe, Be Social Change, Ivy Connect, Elevate, and so many more. And she's appeared on television shows and podcasts. Check out The Secret Free Diet, her TEDx talk on the power of truth telling. That sounds amazing. When she is not working from her New York City townhouse or her new abode in Ithaca, New York, she's meditating, jogging, or attempting to get cuddles from her 10, 20, and 22-year-old kids and her husband of 26 years. People say that Laurie is the real deal. She's been coaching people on how to find and maintain healthy love for over 20 years and has been resident love expert, as we mentioned, on Match, Zoosk, and JDate. She's got wisdom coming out of her ears.
Come on.
And
Don't I seem credible? I think I do.
I think so. I could see it coming out of your ears.
Yes.
And we'll talk later, but she offers a free webinar, The 3 Secrets to Finding and Maintaining Healthy Love Without Repeated Disappointments.
Whew, so much.
So much. But
I'm impressed.
Me too. Me too. That's why you're here.
I've been doing this. Yeah, I've been doing this a while. It's true. It's true.
And that's amazing because there's so many people who haven't been doing it a while and they need advice from people who know. And those are the people who are listening today, the people who are listening to Dishing on Divorce Next Chapter. So again, welcome, Laurie. And let's start with the question I ask all my guests. What's your story? How did you get into this business?
Story, Morning Glory. I hired a coach, and in my silly youth, I told that coach that I wanted help with my career. She said, you can't separate one area of life from all the others. So let me look at everything. So we looked at everything from my body and health to my love relationship, my career, my money, my fun, my spirituality, all of it, parenting. And when she took a look at everything all at once, she noticed that I was tanking my marriage. And in fact, I was on the cusp of a divorce, and pointed out to me that if I wanted to get a divorce, I could keep going in the direction I was going. But if I didn't want to get a divorce, I should focus on my love relationship first and not my career. That I could keep my career, afloat and moving, but that was not really where I should focus myself first. I saw the wisdom of what she was saying because I didn't want to get divorced. And I proceeded to engage in a methodology of coaching, the one I now teach, the Handle Method, to fix what was not working in my relationship. And it was profound and life altering. By the way, I fully believe in divorce. I fully do. It's just that I didn't want one and I didn't need to get one. But I was headed in that direction. My husband was talking about divorce. And so I knew were things I needed to change. The consequences had come in. And so at the end of the process, which was actually very quick, of transforming my relationship with my husband and healing those issues and then creating a great marriage, I then was able to start to look at all the other areas of my life. And I turned again to my career. I was a happy entrepreneur doing fine in a business I liked, but I was not thoroughly inspired. And I teach head, heart, and hoo-ha, 3 H's. It's got to make sense, it's got to feel great, and it's got to turn you on. And what I was doing made sense. It felt okay, but it did not turn me on. So I was not in a 3H win in my career. And so as I started to, again, use the Handel method, which is the methodology that I now coach with, to explore what I could do with my life instead, at the end of that process, it became very clear that I wanted to teach that which I had learned. And so in a beautiful stroke of a magic, the woman who was running that company, Lauren Handel Zander, who created the Handel method, offered me the job of running the life coaching division of her company, which suited my hoo-ha very nicely because I like the title president. And I did not like the title life coach. That did not turn me on. And so I did. I took over running that part of her company. I got coaching. I got trained to be a coach. I paid the bills by coaching people, both the bills of my own salary and other people's salaries, and ran that little company for many, many, many years. And because I had this now successful relationship, I became the love and dating expert. So when Match.com or Zoosk or JDate or whatever needed someone to speak to people about finding and keeping love, I became that person. So I got, 10,000 hours of experience coaching daters, so that now that I am post 50, reinventing myself again in midlife, caring for aging parents and kids growing up and leaving and all of that is my reality now. Instead of coaching everything, which I used to do, I now focus on the love coaching because it's the most fun. And I do find coaching women after divorce is the most fun of the most fun because they are finally free to not sell out again and really seek what they desire. So that's me.
Wow, that's a lot. I love the story. I love all of it. And I'm like, actually, I'm a little stuck right at the beginning because you talked
Okay.
about how this first coach said, okay, I'm not going to just focus on one thing. I need to know all of you. And
Yeah.
that is so brilliant to me because I think about doctors, right? We're supposed to have a primary care physician who sees all of you, but they really only look at one part of you. And then they just send you out to the experts in other parts, but they're not looking at your whole picture. So this idea of coaching from a whole picture is really powerful. With me, I do focus on the divorce process and in some cases how to avoid the divorce process. But I always start with the person's values because I feel like
Yeah.
that's their grounding.
Right.
And that's where I move forward from. But tell me a little bit about the Handel method.
Okay, great. And by the way, same with when someone comes to me for dating, which often times now people come and say, just help me with dating. And I go, I can, but I am still going to need to know everything because if you think your health, your money, your career, or what you do with your time or your family is not affecting your dating, sorry, but it's so totally interconnected. So the Handel method is a comprehensive method of life coaching based on the 12 areas of life. Your relationship to yourself, your love relationships, your work, your family life, your fun, your spirituality, your home, all of the, you could guess what the 12 are. And it was developed at MIT and Stanford by this woman, Lauren Handel Zander. And I don't know, 50 to 100 principles, methodologies, tools, exercises to take you from point A to point B. So we do an evaluation at the beginning where we see, which dominoes we want to knock down first to get the things that people are coming for. And people are coming for health. They're coming for being happy in their careers. They're coming for more money. They're coming for finding the love of their lives, the normal things that people seek coaches for. And so we design a plan based on the assessment as to what are the heart, head, and body changes that need to be made in order to bring someone to that destination. So the hand down method is basically everything she's learned and developed, and we've all learned and developed over these 20 years of practicing, that gets someone from, scale of 1 to 10, they start at a 3 or a 5 or a 7, what gets them to an 8 or a 9, and with the ultimate goal that we could be at 8s or 9s in all areas of life
Right.
if we are being true to ourselves, if we know our hearts, if we align our thinking and planning with our hearts, and if we take action and according to those two.
Yeah, that's big. That's big. And it sounds a lot like soul work, which is a lot of what I do as well.
Mm,
That
mm,
you need to be in alignment with your soul in all of your areas because
right,
that's your big picture. We're not segmented. We're not like
right,
the segments of an orange, right? We are a whole.
right. We're
Um
like a rotten apple in an apple barrel,
yeah,
where
I
if one's rotten, it's gonna spread.
right. It all
Yeah,
impacts. It all
yeah,
impacts.
right.
But so you also said that like your favorite part and the part that you gravitated toward was working in the love relationship space, right? So yes, you were able to remedy what was ailing your relationship, and now 26 years later, or however long it's been, Mazel tov. That's an amazing
Thank you, thank you.
statistic.
It's one of my crowning accomplishments, truly.
Yes, and
Not easy.
not easy, not easy, but that's the whole point is that it takes work. And some people think that it shouldn't take work,
Yeah,
that it's just supposed to happen. But we all know from experience that waiting for it to happen is not the way to live our life forward. Um,
right.
so why don't you tell us a little bit about why dating advice for people who have been through divorce is actually the sweetest of your sweet spots.
Yeah, yeah. So I do think that crisis leads to breakthrough, right? I do think that pain leads to productivity
Yes,
or, passion or whatever. I'm trying to use alliteration, but you get what I'm saying. I think we learn best when we get whacked. And obviously, we don't have to learn. We can suffer and, you know, sort of devolve. But a lot of the people who come to me because they've had something hard happen, and divorce is always hard. And I just think that's such a ripe, whether it's right, some people come to me before their divorce, but most people come to me soon after divorce, or even a long time after divorce. And it's this ripe moment where it's somewhat of a fresh learning, where you have this inspiration and possibly loneliness, that, that combination of I've learned something, I'm inspired to do something different, and I'm lonely, right? The job is open, and I'm not going to make that same mistake, because everyone in my community has been through this with me now, right? And they're going to help me not make these mistakes again. And plus, I'm in many cases past the childbearing phase, which means I'm not hunting a co-parent. I'm not
right,
trying to hurry up and make a baby. All of that are the ingredients that go into usually a woman who is ready to do it much better this time, and possibly even really ask her soul, to use your words, what she really really wants, and start to align her mind and her belief with that thing being possible, and then take the actions to bring it to fulfillment.
okay. So I love that. And what you really remark is that there aren't other concerns on the post-parenting divorced woman looking for a partner, right? Like you are looking for your own fulfillment in a relationship that makes a difference for you.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
it's
you still have to consider your kids, I will say.
well, I I
Everyone's
meant
considering their kids pretty much, which is great. Even grown kids, you have
right,
to
but
consider.
what I was trying to say, so I must have misspoke if that's what you heard. What I was trying to say is that like I'm not making babies. I may have babies, but I'm not making babies. So I don't need to find that person, the
Exactly.
person who's going to be the father of
Exactly.
my children. But
Exactly.
I do need to find the person who I could see as a partner in my life.
Right.
So, what would you say should be the three biggest concerns that people have when they start looking?
Well, I'm so glad you mentioned the number 3, because the methodology, the Handel methodology, teaches something called the 3 H's, and the 3 H's are head, heart, and hoo-ha. And
Okay.
what most of us are raised to believe or have witnessed or experienced is I can get maybe two out of those three, but not all three. I can get someone who makes sense and I trust, but I'm not turned on by, or I can get someone I'm turned on by and makes sense, but I don't trust them, or I could get somebody who I trust and I'm turned on by, but they live in a
Yeah.
1,000 miles away and they want to, travel the world, and I have to stay here and raise my kids, right? So it's very unusual for someone to have the cultural belief that they can have all three in one person, that they deserve all three in one person, that it exists even. So a lot of my work is in getting ready to date is just to have you start to believe in and look at those three voters inside your head and give them a voice, give them a voice, give them a vote, let them talk, don't let them overrule each other or out talk each other. So those are the three biggest considerations, and they all need to be equally considered.
Hmm. So it sounds clear, but it's also a little overwhelming. Like, how do you find those three qualities, those three
Right.
things? Um, and how do you even discover what that is for you?
So good. Glad you asked. And I know you're going to put in the show notes or however you do it, the free webinar, which is an hour of me literally walking you through the exercise. What are your head
Mm.
criteria? What are your heart criteria? What are your hoo-ha criteria? There it is. Your link is right there in front of you. It's a free webinar. It'll take you an hour. Come with your notebook and pen. I'm going to share briefly about what it is, but you deserve to sit down and actually do your brainstorm, take your notes, pick your top 5 to 10, not 20, not 100, not 2, 5 to 10 things in each category. I'll just take you through it, right? Head criteria are things like geographical compatibility, financial compatibility, intellectual compatibility. We want the same thing. We're both looking for long term, or we're both looking for casual. Heart things could be anything. It's like, what's important to your heart? Is it humor? Is it music? Is it family? Obviously, everything in regards to trust, communication style, energy exchange, the types of ways you want to spend time together could all be under heart. The type, the intensity, and the duration of time spent together. Big issue in early dating. And then hoo-ha is, again, it's a je ne sais quoi, right? Like, you think you have a type. A lot of people put tall, dark, and handsome, and they think that's their type. Good news, types are flexible. Types can change. It's not always what you think. I mean, for all the women who think they found the guy who was their type and it didn't turn out, there's all these women who thought they weren't attracted to the person they were in early dating with and ended up falling in love and being happily partnered with that person. So hoo-ha is everything from height and body type and hair color, which are the lesser important things, to swagger, sex appeal, chemistry. How much can you talk about things in the bedroom? Do they like affection or not? I'm actually someone who does not like physical affection. I don't like it. I know I'm weird, but I don't like it, right? So if I had a partner that really liked a lot of physical displays of affection, or just in general cuddling or affection, that we would not be a hoo-ha match, because we don't
Right.
we don't
Right.
like the same thing, right? It doesn't have to be same, but it has to be compatible. So how you determine your criteria in each of these is go through that process, right? Like, you could do it on your own, but
Okay.
I'm
So
giving
what
you
I'm going
a
to
free
do,
resource.
right, a free resource. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here because we're about halfway through and we need to hear a word from our sponsor. So a 30-second break while we hear from the new streaming network, and we will be back with Laurie Gerber. And we're back with Dishing on Divorce Next Chapter with Laurie Gerber, dating and relationship coach. So Laurie, we left at our break and we were talking about how do we find alignment in head, heart, and hoo-ha. And, I have to be quite honest. It's the first time I heard the word hoo-ha used as a dating criteria, even though I hear chemistry, I hear,
Yes.
energy, I hear you just know the connection. But it's kind of fun to say hoo-ha, and I appreciate that it starts with a H, so it makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, you
Um,
might get into it.
you might.
Yeah.
So how do we find that alignment or know when we do? Because the last thing you
Yeah.
mentioned was that sometimes you fall in love with the person you didn't think you were going to have that hoo-ha with. And how
Right.
does that happen? And how do you have
Right.
the patience to sit through those first couple of dinners that, you're
The
not quite sure?
Right. Okay. So if you're following my methodology, and this is another thing that's in the webinar, you're going to do what I call the 3-date strategy, which means there's going to be very little suffering with someone who does not meet your 3H criteria.
Okay.
The most you're going to have is 3 dates. I'm not going to let you have more than 3. So, and we judge based on rating scales. We make what is generally considered qualitative and feeling, we make it quantitative. And we go scale of 1 to 10. You need to be 8 or above in all 3 H's. So 8 or above in head, 8 or above in heart, 8 or above in hoo-ha by the end of the 3rd date or no 4th date.
Mhm.
Okay. So because I'm putting you on that tight structure, you now then have to be very intentional about what you're doing on those dates. You need to have a video date first where you just vet, do they look like their profile? Do we have good chemistry? Unless you know them from real life, right? You're going to do that first hoo-ha vet and vice versa. Don't bother going out on dates just because you're lonely, because that's how you'll get fatigued, or just because they're lonely, right? So you vet the hoo-ha right off the bat, because also, by the way, people lie in their dating profiles. So you really do need to see them.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, my headshots are like 8 years old. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not paying for new headshots, right? So people are not putting current pictures of themselves on dating profiles. So you need to do that hoo-ha vet right out. But then the second exercise that I take my daters through after defining their 3 H's is now they're going to come up with questions for each of their criteria. So that if they have a criteria like likes hanging out with family on the weekends, for example, or also has kids around, so they get it,
Right.
then she's gonna design a question, a comment and a question. I really love hanging out with my kids on the weekends. I generally have to go to 1 or 2 games and do some cooking and baking. What do your weekends look like vis-a-vis your kids? Right, like, so an open-ended question, and again, there's a whole curriculum on how to design the right questions, how many questions at each date, which questions first, second, and third, but it then becomes your curriculum that you're laying out in each date. If someone is like a 6 or above in hoo-ha in a video chat, they've not said anything that's a deal breaker for your head, and the connection feels nice, the rapport is good, then you can go on that first date. But your first date is then it's going to have a lot of questions, a lot of
Yeah.
prepared commentary and prepared questions and good listening and collecting data. And we color code and we do rating, we do all kinds of nerdy ways of analyzing. Is this person going to get to an 8 or above or not? And
Right.
by the way, I define each, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're not, it isn't, it's not foolproof, but it's the safest way I've found to get someone to be honest with themselves, right? To
Okay.
make it quantitative, to say what an 8 is, right? An 8 is great. I don't
Yeah.
know is a 6.5. Is a 5, right? Like there's a
Yeah.
definition. And it really does have to be 8 or above. So you've got to, if you're coaching with me, you gotta prove to me it's 8 or above to get that 4th date. So you're really intentional on those dates to figure it out.
So I love that. And it actually, like, as you're talking, um, I'm actually thinking about my son. So my son um, adopted a much more religious lifestyle, and it's a totally different kind of dating. He was searching for a bride, and
Mm,
in the process, it's called, shidduch making, and he has a shidduch resume, and they have, criteria on the resume, and they have references on the resume, and a picture does go back and forth. Like, he has to say, okay, her resume looks good. You could send her my picture. And then
right.
he says, okay, he can ask me out on a date. And then
So
it's,
he has an official Yenta.
yeah, okay is an official Yenta.
Yes,
That's
yes,
the matchmaker.
yes.
And um, they have like 5 dates and then they decide that they're going to get married or not get married.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's that
yeah,
fast.
yeah,
But it's because they actually have determined what are their values, what do they
right.
need in their head, what do they need in their heart. I'm the mom, I can't really say that the hoo-ha thing, but I'm sure that
No, but
that's
they
just,
look at the pictures. They
they
look at
look
the
at the
pictures.
picture and they know. And
Right.
I have to say, he is married. He found the one, and she is the one for him. She is
I
actually
love that.
beautiful and perfect, and they've been married 2 years, and they're really happy.
I mean, I really love just whenever anyone proves to me, because everyone wants to argue, like, you can't get to know someone in 3 dates and me, me, me. And it's like, well, if you mean to get to know them, you can, right? If the
Yeah,
dates are 7 hours long and you actually open your kimono and talk and want to know if it's a match. What I love about what your son's doing is that it's just explicit. It's unapologetically,
yeah,
yeah, we're looking to see if it's a match. Because we're actually gonna get married, right? Like
yeah,
we're not messing around, we're not entertaining ourselves, we're not avoiding loneliness. We're not using each other for something. We are literally trying to figure out if it's a match. So there's no point in pretending,
yeah,
hiding. It's coming
exactly,
out. So
and they
yeah,
know, and they're
yeah,
completely clear. Like, it's not
yeah.
about fooling around, because you know what? There is no touching. There is no
Yeah,
touching
I know.
until after the
I
wedding.
know. I know.
So it seems very foreign to us, but when I hear you talk about these categories and the criteria and like where are you on the score, it it again sounds transactional, but it's also practical, right?
Yes, that's
It
right. And by the way, I waited 6 months to have sex with my husband, which is not the same thing as no touching. I mean, it was
right.
way less orthodox. At the time, I was worried about HIV and I was very religious about that. But it was great, right? I really believe in whatever equivalent you can come up with of keeping the hoo-ha simmering, because there's a reason why that orthodoxy, or in some cases arranged marriages, can work in a way that the tyranny of choice and all the choice we have right now and all of the stimulation we have right now and the instant gratification we have right now, I think there's something we can pull from that, even if we are not as religious or orthodox, with the waiting, right? just
Yeah.
just waiting and letting the hoo-ha
Yes,
develop,
exactly. I
simmer
hear
and
you.
develop. I think it really pays off with the right person.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So my next question was, how do you make it less scary and more fun? And I I kind of feel like having this sort of chart makes it less
Right.
scary and kind of gamifies the whole process.
We are totally gamified. It is totally gamified. And working with a coach, obviously, is makes it more fun, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, but it's nice to have a personal trainer, right? The hour goes quicker, you get a better workout, and you can chitty chat and have fun and make jokes. So it's really fun to have a coach. It's really fun to have a methodology that works behind you. It's more effective, obviously. And then in my program, in my digital program, we have group coaching. So there's also daily interaction on the private site, as well as monthly interaction as a group talking, where you're like, what other women are cheering you on and giving you pep talks and reminding you of your values. And that's super fun, because I do think dating is a team sport. I don't think you should try to do it alone. It can be very lonely and depressing to do it alone.
Mhm.
And I think every woman needs someone to go, "What do you think of this text? Like, what do you think he meant? Do what
Yeah.
should I text back?" Like, it's like part of
Right.
our culture.
Right. It is part of our culture. And
Yeah.
it's the part of our culture that seems so impersonal. But if you actually are building a tribe around you who are doing the same things at the same time with the
Yeah.
same goals and objectives
Yeah.
and having the same, ups and downs, that's really powerful too, because you're building
It
community.
is. Exactly. It hits so many birds, right? It's
Yeah.
community, it's fun, it's learning, it's personal growth, it's helping your love life, it's friendship, it's
Yeah.
really a lot of birds with one stone. The women, they love it. I'm always so thrilled when they coach each other and practice what they've learned on
Right.
each other. So that's very, very gratifying
So
for me.
So in that digital community, Are people in the same geographic area? Are your clients all over the country?
No.
Like
Yeah.
how does it work?
Yeah, all over the world, all over the country. The only real so I was gonna say the only real prerequisite is that you have to be a woman over 50, but that's not true because there's women of all ages. And there's women of all ages and there's some men, but I don't let the men come to the group because the group really I like it as just a safe space for women, but men buy the course even though I made it
For
all the
women?
principles apply to men as well, but I market it too, and the language is really directed at women, but men get an awful lot out of it too. So,
So do you have packages then? What does love coaching with you cost?
oh, it costs a lot. It costs a lot. I don't want to say it costs a lot.
Okay.
It
Okay.
costs a lot. If you, it's I'm very expensive. I'm at the top of the scale for private coaching. I love private coaching. I help tremendously. I can move you very quickly through a lot. And if you have disposable income like that, I'm happy to do a free consultation and see if I'm the right coach. But the reason I created the digital program is because everyone can afford that.
Right.
Really,
Right.
that's everyone can afford the digital program, and that is, you would just watch the free webinar. It'll offer you a sale price on the digital program. The digital program has all the methodologies, right? The digital program isn't going to tell you what your 13 specific obstacles are, right? That's what private
Right.
coaching does, but it will take you through all of the methods, all of the advice. There's like a 36-page how to pick your dating site. It's I basically just put in everything I was giving my private coaching
Right.
clients. I put it into a digital course so that someone who can't afford me privately can walk through those steps.
Amazing. That's really amazing. And I think what it sounds like the digital course gives you like the highlights reel. It's the highlights reel plus you have the tools you need and you're building a community. So you've got
Exactly.
that. And they still have access to you in the group coaching sessions.
Oh, yeah. No, I
So
mean, it's a great bargain. I was very excited to have this because it makes this methodology and these tools and my feedback very widely accessible when before it was only,
yeah.
accessible to people with a lot of disposable income.
So that is amazing. So um tell us again, we're getting close to the end of our podcast. How can my guests or my audience reach you?
They can go to lauriegerber.com. LAURIEGERBER.com. It's written right there if you're looking at the screen I'm looking at. And slash webinar gets you to the webinar, slash blog gets you to the blog. There's tons of free stuff, like I said. And then I would absolutely recommend the digital course if you want to take it further. And if you think I'm your private coach, you sign up for a free consult with me.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. This was tons of fun and a lot of adding the joy back in because I have to share, I have many clients and many friends who are divorced and dating, and they are stuck on the apps and feeling miserable.
It is
And
hard.
it's hard. It's really hard. And trying to figure out how do I do it better, it's hard to get out of our own way. As coaches,
Mhm.
we know that. And we try lots of tools, but it seems like your tools are going to move people forward in ways that go beyond dating, you
Oh, for
know?
sure. Yes, everything is widely
Right.
applicable.
Right. But
Not
because,
to yeah, yeah.
no, go
So,
on. Not to, you were starting to say,
because your relationship to yourself is underneath your relationship to dating, right? So we actually can't even get to dating unless we deal with your relationship to yourself and the other areas of your life. So there's no way around it. You're going to become a better person, right?
yeah,
As you become a better dater, you're going to become a better person. You're going to like yourself more. You're going to know yourself better. So it is a lot of bang for your buck.
great. Wonderful. I love it. A lot of bang. I get it. Hoo ha, bang. I love
Hoo-ha,
it.
bang.
These
You
words
get
are
you
all,
got me.
yeah, we're there. We're
Just
there.
reminding you that's the whole point of having a romantic partner. You have friends already. Your
Yeah.
friends are for your head and your heart, right? The the,
Yeah.
the defining feature of your partner is the hoo-ha. So
Yeah. And I hope that we all leave and we can have a mantra. It's head, heart, and hoo-ha. And I
That's
love
right.
it. I love it.
All 3
Thanks a lot,
H's.
Laurie Gerber. I'm Lisa Lisser. You can find me at lzlcoaching.com, or my email is lisa@lzlcoaching.com. See you next time.